Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another episode here on my single player world. And it has been a while. Yes, it has. My last episode was mostly recorded last summer. Now it's April. It's been a minute. So instead of doing a snappy intro, I'm just going to show you what like 8 months of background nonsense work does. So let's just hop right into it. First off, we have all of these villagers. Each one of them is a pumpkin and melon, and they're all cured. And this green stuff right here is from a mod, Inventory Profiles Next. I disabled everything about Inventory Profiles Next except this villager trading because I was trading pumpkin, and then in between switching to melon, they would refresh their trade and then I would lose everything. That's no fun. So we're not doing that. But all of these guys, pumpkin and melon, and I go through like 8 stacks of pumpkins and melons each day. So it's a lot. And that's fueled by this thingamajig here. We got melons. We got everywhere. We got melons. And I just got rid of most of our pumpkins, but we got pumpkins too. And when you toss stuff down here, or when stuff comes to the end, it gets turned into bone blocks. It's an amazing system, and I'll just cheaty cam it. It's powered by this thing right here. This is the pumpkin and melon farm. It's a quad melon and pumpkin farm. So, you know, we've got 2 pumpkin, 2 melon, and it goes down. And it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down even through this lava. Yep, and it goes down all the way to bedrock. And why did I build one this big? I have no idea. I just started digging one day, and I was like, you know what would be really funny? If I kept digging. And so I dug a hole. And then I just filled it with a pumpkin and melon farm. And it's way, 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 way too efficient. Like, I'm going to need a dozen more villagers, 2 dozen more villagers just to keep up with this. I'm not going to do that because I get lag. In this area, I get about 30 FPS, and I was getting 10, and then I, did a little unvillagerification. Yes, unvillagerification. That's the word. And then my FPS suddenly magically went back up to about 30, which is still pretty bad. It's because I have everything in this area. I have all my chests, all my mobs. As we go on, we're going to have to, figure out where to put everything else, move some guys out, kick them over. And yeah, because everywhere else I'm getting like 120 frames per second. So I'm doing all right. It's just this area is busy. And as you can see right behind my head, that's what we worked on last episode. It's the shulker factory, currently shut down for maintenance, but we can see it from here because I am now running a new shader pack. It is Photon. I was running complementary. Now I'm running Photon. I like complementary a little bit more. This is a little bit warmer. I just really like it because it works with Foxy, and Foxy allows you to see far. I've changed this floor out about 5 times. So it was grass, then it was all moss, then it was like kind of this mix here, and then I added leaves so the light comes through because down there's light, and that makes sure bad guys don't spawn, and that's always fun. Everything here is as is. Oh yeah, diamond count. I have a shulker box of diamond ore. I'm trying to get 2 shulker boxes. That's a long-term plan, but I haven't mined for actual months now. If we walk right past our now cleared villager breeder, we will come to all my villagers, and this is what's reducing my lag. The ones with the bamboo signs or no signs at all are the new guys I just worked on. And this actually, the last episode I said I worked several hundred hours on this episode, and that was true. And a big portion of that, maybe like a 10th of that, but yeah, still a lot of it was re-rolling villagers until they gave me the cheapest possible trade, except for this guy, because the last one I needed was efficiency 5. And yeah, after rolling it for an hour, I gave up. I took the first efficiency 5 that I could get. So all of these guys they have each trade possible, every book possible. And that is a trade for another day. And then these guys are my masons, and they're probably the ones going to get evicted. Up here, we have my zombification chamber. So I'll just move 3 of them here, hit them, and then move them to their future home, which is this area right over here. But I think this is a project for another day. I just sketched out how much terrain we need for it, and I think that's all right. We still need to terraform, and I don't like the look of our terraforming right now. It's still really rough stages. I don't know. I'm not a really good terraformer. I'm trying to learn. That's why I chose this project. I'm not good at natural builds. So I'm building natural, and this is a big part of it. You can see my new style is more like this rather than this. I don't know, a little bit of difference. The bulk of my work has been in the nether, especially the past month. Everything we're about to see is basically all in the past month. I have built this. It's a massive, whatchamacallit, a nether ice tunnel thing. This is 0, and it goes in all 4 directions out to 128, except for this way where it goes out to my ice farm. It's not a farm. I just mine ice in Ice Spikes biome, but that's like 1,000 blocks in the nether that way. I'm not kidding. Go this way. And yeah, it just keeps on going. 1,000 blocks. It's not all built and it's not all mined. Some of that is basalt, and I am not going there yet. And the basalt takes a while to mine. But the eagle-eyed among you would have noticed this big ol' hole. This is, yeah, this has been an insane amount of work over the past about 3 weeks. I don't know. It takes me, I measured it really early on. It took me about 3 hours per layer of 3. We're at 49 now. 49 or 52, one of those. And yeah, it's it's huge. If we go down here, you'll really get a sense of the scale. I just a couple minutes ago put in these bridges. Oh, the bane of my existence are ghasts. So let's kill this guy before he destroys some of my carpet. You can see all of these are ghast holes. Luckily, this is not permanent. I'm not going to keep the nether rack, not netherite, the nether rack right there. That's not permanent. But right here, we have carpet with, that's bedrock, and that's a jack-o'-lantern. Ooh, that's, I don't like the shader pack doing that. Or not the shade, yeah, shaders. I don't like shaders doing that. Anyway, pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern, underneath carpet. And eventually we're going to put glass, and it's going to be a fog effect floor. And I think that would look really cool, especially with these pillars going down and descending into the darkness. Yeah, I kind of don't like the how the shader pack renders light, especially on the edges here. Oh, shoot. I looked at the guy. No, I didn't. No. If you consult the top secret nether project calculations stuff book that I keep here because I'm an idiot who forgets things, the floor is 66,000 blocks in area. It's 257 by 257 because it's 0, and then it's 256. Well, it's 128 blocks either side. So, you know, math, that works. If you do the math about it, each layer takes 1,032 stacks, or, you know, 38 to 39 shulker boxes. And that's per level. If I'm doing a glass fog effect floor, it's going to be like 8 layers. That's like 38 times 8. You do the math. Shulker boxes of glass. And that stuff's not renewable. No. No, 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 no. Careful, man. Don't get too sick. All right. Yep. Nope. All right. Anyway, we're going to leave that guy there while we talk about what we need. This nether project is not going to be a 1 episode thing. It's going to be like a dozen episodes or more. I'm going to do it in the background. It's going to take me like 4 months to do it. I'll live stream it probably. It might be a bit boring, though I might do other projects on live stream, but that's twitch.tv/1SirPercival. Anyway, we're going to need carpet, black wool carpet. So we need black wool. So we need a lot of sheep. We need a jack-o'-lantern farm. I have the pumpkin farm. We've already talked about that. And spoiler alert, I already made all the torches. So there's that. Somewhere over here, there's black glass. We need black stained glass, which means we need glass, which is a pain to get, and we need black dye. And I'm choosing ink sacks because I don't have a wither farm to make, or I don't have a wither skeleton farm to make withers, to make wither roses. No, ink sack I think is just the easiest way to go. Pumpkins, the first thing we're going to take care of. We already have the pumpkin farm. We just need to shear it. Now for jack-o'-lanterns, you need a carved pumpkin, which means you need to hand shear it, and that's a pain. If we come over here to where we were working last episode in our industrial district that's burgeoning, you'll see we have a nail house here. We've been negotiating with the villager who lives here, telling them that the road is coming this way. If we read the notice here, it says, by order of Sir Demolition, sometime in the Percival, this please vacate your future IDK house is set for the premises by when I will do it. So that explains everything perfectly reasonably for what we're going to do with this road. This road's coming over here. I think I'm going to make it a bit bigger so we can have sidewalks, like pretty big sidewalks. Like I'm thinking this is like a Victorian city. So I'm thinking like London, and parts of London downtown have some pretty big sidewalks because there's a lot of people there. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. And then over here, you'll see this thingamajig that's not operational. And what it is a carved pumpkin farm that I've put together. So I will just explain it from the top, I guess. You go here, you take pumpkins, put it in your offhand. This torch powers this piston eventually to break it, but gives you enough time to shear it. And then a pumpkin from a shulker box. One of these shulker boxes comes down, it drops here, you pick it up and you do it right here. Right here, you have a bunch of shears. And when you set it on, it just eventually drops when there's no shear here. So that works, I think. I haven't tested it out because of our problems down below. If we go below, it all feeds into here. And I was having problems because one shulker speed is not fast enough. Yeah. We're making 5 items per click. We're making 4 seeds and 1 carved pumpkin. And theoretically, we could just pick up the carved pumpkin, but that might mess up our shear picker-upper, efficator. Yeah, that thing. You might pick up seeds instead of picking up your next shear, and then you can't AFK it. So I want to get rid of all the seeds, but to do that, we need 5. Well, we need to go through 5 items, and I don't know what the exact hopper speed is, but we go through, we shear it basically like this. We go boom, 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 boom. Yeah, we go through it pretty fast. I can't show you it right now because it's off. That's our plan for today. If we go down here, this is where they all get loaded. I made this myself, so I'm kind of proud of it, even though it's jank. And this whole system, which I designed, and you can tell again because of the jank, it was put into place because the recipe isn't, I don't know, item placement agnostic. Is that the term? Meaning you can't craft like this. I don't know if this item placement crafter believes in a god, so I don't know if it's agnostic like that, but it doesn't believe in having torches on top of carved pumpkins. So by doing this, it means we always have a carved pumpkin here, and it only crafts when we have enough carved pumpkin. That way, the torch that goes back to the torch unloader with all torches here, it won't keep putting torches in and failing to craft 2 stacks of torches into nothingness. So that's always fun. Shulker boxes come out to here. Oh yeah, and we go over here. I've already made 1 shulker box of jack-o'-lanterns, so that's fun. It just took a really long time to craft all those because I could only go through about 1 shear at a time before needing to take a break and let all the items go through. So I have to go figure out a way to get all these items passing through the system and, you know, put the carved pumpkins in the carved pumpkin machine, put the seeds, the pumpkin seeds in the pumpkin seed machine. This guy can actually go though. We have eminent domain in this world, and I am the law. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to a brand new segment I'm calling Janky Math with yours truly, Sir Percival. Firstly, I have to say I am a political science major and not a hard science major, but I'm going to prove political science is a real science. The limiting factor in our whole farm is hopper speed. Now, 1 times hopper speed, that's how fast 1 hopper goes, is 2.5 items per second or 9,000 items per hour. I did a little bit janky math, hence the title, and the pumpkin carving is roughly 5 items per second because it takes about a second to place the pumpkin, carve the pumpkin, and then to break the pumpkin. That's how it works. And it creates 4 seeds in 1 pumpkin. Oh, pumpkin. See, I know what I wrote. And so that's 18,000 items per hour. Fortunately, if you go 1, carry the 2, that's 2 times hopper speed, roughly. And I can always slow down the farm just ever so slightly to make sure it stays at the 1 pumpkin broken per second speed if it's a little bit too fast. Our system is using hopper minecarts, which do 1 item per game tick, which is 20 items per second. And I didn't feel like doing 2 multiplications in a row to figure out how many items per hour that is, but it's we are leaving a rounded metric butt ton of items per hour. And if we go over to here, we'll see this is the system we're using. And hopper minecarts are relevant, you can see, because we're using them to pick up the blocks that fall where we're standing. So we're standing right here, we're placing right here, roughly, maybe it's a block higher, but we're placing a block right here, and when it goes there, it powers and yada, 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 it gets destroyed. But we need a hopper minecart here because we can't just place a redstone torch on the side of a hopper. We have to place on the side of a regular block. And this also will allow us to go faster than 1 times hopper speed if we consult the graph. I jankified all my redstone bits, and I came up with this solution where this hopper minecart, this is a hopper minecart stuck into a wall. You just pistonificate it, and it goes there. And I put it in between two hoppers. And then I put one hopper minecart feeding into it, and that would be basically this one right here, feeding into it, and then feeding into two hoppers. And then when we toss a whole dang stack, we'll see it's going into both of them. And it's pretty slow, but, you know, we're never going to have a full stack go at the same time. We're just going to have 5 items. And so this should be able to keep up, I hope. That's my hope. Again, I can slow down the farm if not. But turning around, you'll see I just put it in, and that's why there's a slight time change. If you look down there, we have our hopper minecart. It's not fully encased in 2 blocks because I discovered that if it went like right on the edge, right next to that hopper, it wouldn't get picked up, obviously, because it's not above it. And so I did that so it could just drop down to the hopper below, and it goes down here, and we have a hopper minecart to pick that up too. So both of these go into 2 different streams here. So if it goes over here, it goes down that hopper chain, and if it goes on the other side, it goes through that hopper chain. And I can show you it actually functioning if we do this. And ta-da, carved pumpkins going down. We're getting uncarved pumpkins to our top left here, coming in through this brand new shulker box that just popped in. If we go down here, we can see they go into 2 separate chains. Ignore the uncarved pumpkins because that was me testing it. But yeah, we just get half of them in this, half of them in that, and I'm hoping that's fast enough. So next thing we need to do is separate the wheat from the chaff, separate the pumpkin seeds from the carved pumpkins, put the carved pumpkins into the put the carved pumpkins in the carved pumpkinificator, and put the seeds into a composter that goes into the crafter. Yes, so I'm going to do that and have it on 2 separate sides, and hopefully that works. So this is what it looks like when it's all said and done, and I'm hoping it works. So it's just an impulse item sorter, really simple stuff, and it sorts out pumpkin seeds on this side towards us, and on the other side, I'll show you one side, it sorts out carved pumpkin, and most of the carved pumpkin comes right through this chain, so you don't have to worry about the other side. Nerve-wracking part coming up. So we're going to offhand this, put shears here, and I'm not going to do the full long AFK session where I have automatic shears. I'm not going to set that up. I'm just going to run through this. So I have a mod where I just press I and I hold the keys automatically. It's just holding left click basically. So I don't have to keep my hand on the mouse for how many hours it will take me. And you can see we are still getting pumpkins. And yeah, I'm going to AFK here for a little bit and maybe go through a couple shears and see how it works. The results are in and it's working better. It's working as intended. However, it is still a little bit slow. I slowed down the farm a little bit, and it's still a little bit too fast. I think it's not handling it fast enough, but I didn't get any backup pumpkin seeds like was happening last time. I went through almost a full shear, and last time, with the last design, it was backing up with 1 shear's use. And this time, it seems to be keeping up better, but I seem to be like taking 0.9 seconds instead of 1 second. And so it's not keeping up 100%. So maybe we can't go for 20 hours straight of carving pumpkins. But, you know, if I can go for an hour at a time making pumpkins, that would be really great. But if you look at this area, this is a mess. I've mentioned before, and I will mention again, I am not into redstone core. Like some people, they like their builds looking like this. That's not me. I'm here to be technical, but also purdy. Like, look at the shulker farm. That's a shulker farm, and it looks good. But I want to integrate this farm into that farm, even though they aren't related at all. Like pumpkins and shulkers, they don't go together, I don't think. But I want to make this city area look pretty and look, you know, unified. So I was thinking it's Victorian, so it's not quite cars. And this was looking like a little parking lot-like area. But I'm thinking if I turn it into a crate storage system, that would be really cool. And what do you need when you have crates? It'd be really cool to have a crane. So I'm thinking of having like a crane right there. But first we've got to do a little bit of terraforming. I think the terraforming should look something like this. It's nothing special. It's just a little bit of tough wall. And it's just going to be the background. This is not the focus. If minor walls in your terraforming are the focus of your builds, then I think something's going wrong. So these are going to be covered anyway. I'm going to put stuff where I'm standing, but I just want to show them off a little bit while we're building. So this is just tough with tough brick walls on the top. I kind of told a story where the bricks become more pronounced the higher up you get, and the tough is more abundant on the bottom, kind of like if it's crushed by the weight of it, the bricks kind of fade and blend in, or they're worn by people brushing up against it or rain falling on it. I don't know. Just a little bit of story. And I like the bricks right here, actually, when they're touching the wall behind it, because then it becomes more pronounced. I kind of like that. I kind of prefer, like, if you look over here and you look over here, I don't know. I feel like it gives it more depth. And so I might build if we come up here, we can see that these aren't touching anything right here, but we have room to build. And we could probably put some landscaping or put the wall of our building right up against it so we can get that effect along this whole thing. And I think it's really unusual, because usually I prefer the walls to look like this rather than that. But I think it really works for this build. And we have the access point right here. I'll put a door here eventually, probably like an iron door, a copper door, something thematic. And then you can come in here, you can pick up your chests and shulker boxes and whatnot. Bone blocks. I should probably just trash this, really. But it's not too much faster to trash it, and you get a lot of bone meal, even though I have like 20 different ways to get bone meal now. Now we just need to cover up all this ugly redstone stuff, and I think we're going to have a pretty square looking build here. I want to leave some room. Maybe we have a connection between like right here and right down there, so the crane's picking up boxes and putting it down there. I don't know. And I'm trying to tell a story here, okay? I think it's going to be just like a square brick building. If we head on over here, you can see I picked up some things that I felt would be thematic. I didn't know what would work and what I wanted to go for, but I think like this copper stuff would be great for the actual mechanics of the crane. I didn't know how big I wanted to build it, but I think I'm going to use some of this. And then the actual bricks and terracotta for the building. Maybe I run and get some granite. I think that would work with it. I'm going to start building, and I'll let you know when we have some developments. We have a bit of a sketch right here. Obviously this isn't finished. This is just the general palette I want to go for. We're going to start with this brown coarse dirt, and then we're going to mix in granite. And then we also have the other kind of granite, the polished granite, mix that in. Then we have bricks, and we have terracotta. This regular terracotta. I didn't put it here because I want it to be predominantly bricks. I want most of this just to be bricks. Again, you don't have to waste resources and time and energy building stuff that's just going to be a bit of a backdrop. I'm still, if you notice, I said I was building a crane building. There is no crane yet. So yeah, that's going to go on this side, I think. But I wanted to get the building in because this is a bit of a canvas. And you have to free cam for this. You'll see I put the roof in, just nice deep slate mixed roof I usually do. It's really simple and it looks pretty good, I think. If we go inside as well, I'm going to let these copper doors oxidize and get a nice patina, but it's nothing fancy at all. I didn't even do anything over here. Just put lights. It's nothing fancy because I'm hardly going to be in here. I'm going to be in here AFKing. And that's about it. We can go upstairs. We have our access to the pumpkin shulker boxes there, and we can put more in if we ever need it. But really, this is the amount that we need. And then we're also going to put in a window up here, and then kind of surround it in copper, I think, just to introduce that copper element. But again, we need to mix this up and do a little bit of more stuff. And we've done the next step of kind of mixing it up. And I brought the granite up higher because there wasn't enough mixing going on the top. And this is just a rough sketch. This is basically the canvas. And next up, we're going to have windows, and we're going to have black concrete behind the windows so you don't see in. Because if you peek in, it looks like this, and we don't want people seeing that. We want to pretend like we're above board operation over here, and we always make all of our interiors, which we do, of course. But there's going to be, I think, a window on that side mirrored on the opposite side, and then maybe like 3 windows, smaller windows on this side. And we're going to surround it in copper. So we introduce the copper element and see how that looks. Our next step is done, and it's looking something like this. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not quite in love with the windows on this side, but don't look at them. And it's all good. That's how I solve all my problems. I just don't look at them. I just wish there was like some way to connect these two to each other, so you know that this is a window and that's a window. I don't know. If you have any bright ideas, let me know. I tried a lot of stairs and slabs, and nothing was working. Maybe I try something on here. I don't know. So it's looking kind of ugly, and that's okay because we're learning here. And I did put in this nice little window decor. It's an actual glass, you can actually see the glass right there, black stained glass, and it looks pretty cool. And that's where we have an actual interior, so we didn't have to use black concrete behind it. But when it was just by itself, if we go to the other side, it looked kind of like this. And this is plain and ugly, and that's not something you want this front to look like. So I added a chimney. When in doubt, just start adding details, and then eventually it'll look all right. It's meant to look a little, thrown together, not that fancy. There's no windows on this side because I'm going to have the crane kind of coming out this side. Maybe if I'm really ambitious, I'll put it at an angle. Ooh, that would be tough. But altogether, I think it's looking pretty okay right now. Aggressively fine. It's missing the cherry on top, and that's our next step. We need to build a crane. I have never built something like this before. I have no idea how it's going to turn out, but we're going to try. And I'm doing all this single player too. Also, before I go, I forgot to mention, you see this oak wood here? I used the villagers building over there, the villager house, and I started placing it. So some of these are from our stolen goods that we stole from the village that we parked this industrial city on top of. So that's good. Nothing goes to waste. We recycle everything here. So first we're going to need a foundation. And what I'm thinking, just broadly before we go in, it's going to be foundation of this dark oak wood going up, and then copper on the ends. And I'm thinking like big circles. So because I don't know much about cranes or engineering, but I think circles are important. Yes, you can quote me on that. So we're going to build a foundation like this. I think this is a good height. If we just cheaty cam it, I think that would give us enough space to have big circles. And maybe we bring this up a little bit more, but I like this detail on it. And now we just need to make a diagonal circle. Best of luck there, fella. So I'm not really an expert on it, but I think let's go here. And let's see, actually we probably needed that there. We're going to be losing a lot of blocks. I'm going to be constantly jumping down. But I have a diagram of how big a regular circle is. My process is to just follow this circle generator that I always use. And hopefully, if we just put it at an angle, it will look halfway decent. We'll still need to, bring structure to it. But if I don't make mistakes, this should look okay. Okay, that's looking a little bit fat. So maybe we make it more circle-y. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Some changes have been made. And I think it looks all right for now. We will need to put in some more blocks to keep this thicker, make it a little bit thicker so it all works together, and then add some spokes, I guess, because circles need spokes, I think. And then we want to mirror it on the other side, I think, unless we're just doing an imbalanced one. I don't know. I'll think about it, but I like how it looks right now. Okay, does it look all right? I think it looks pretty nice. Now, it's at an angle, so it's going to look a little bit funky, but we like funky here on this channel. I think it looks good. And the real question is, do we do one wheel or 2 wheels? It's better than 1 wheel. It is 2 wheels. However, I don't want to build this again. And I think if we keep it a little bit asymmetrical, maybe it looks cool. The wheel side of it is going to be facing where we're going to be walking. This is going to be a sidewalk eventually. So I think keeping it like there and then having like a counterweight type big box on the other side, that will be fine. And then the crane coming out at an angle. Yeah, let's do that. Counterweight's looking pretty good. Now, it's not going to be the focal point of this build. You know, that's obviously going to be the big thing sticking out of it. But I think it's good enough and it looks heavy enough. That's the main thing. You know, the big bulk of it, you want to make sure it looks like it can hold a crane and lift stuff up. And I think it does. And to get a better view, I put a little thing on top. Yeah. And I have a lightning rod, even though we have fire take off. Just a lightning rod there just for fun. Even if we had fire take on, I think this is too far away for it to burn. But yeah, it looks maybe a little bit light on this side. Maybe we bring it down a little bit, like bring these two things down. And I had to put lights there because things can spawn around here. So I don't want things spawning and falling and down my chimney and hitting me while I'm AFK. That would be bad. Next step up, though, is the crane. And this is what I'm dreading, like the actual part sticking out at an angle. Oh, it's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens. I think the crane's turning out all right. It's a little wonky, I think, but it's at an angle. So I think no matter what you do, it's going to turn out a little bit wonky. I reinforced this side to make it look a little bit heavier. I still think this support is probably not heavy enough feeling. Maybe we widen that. But now the last thing, we just need to have something for it to carry, and that's going to be pretty cool. I think we're aiming for that block right there. So we're somewhere under here. And maybe we'll go right here. See how close we get. I brought special blocks for this part of it, and it's these chains right here and the lightning rods. I forgot what they were called. Let's go over. Yeah, we were close. That's good enough. I think we want to put these lightning rods something like that and face it down. And we're going to let all of this age. Boom. Let's see how that looks. I think that looks pretty cool. So it's solid, and then you got the chain holding down, and then I don't know the exact height we want to have this thing at, but let's go down a bit. I think that's a pretty good height. What do you say? And I ended it off with a lightning rod, and then we'll attach to a full block right there and attach a crate to it. But first I have to go to sleep. Now, the unfortunate thing about these chains is that we can't really have them on a diagonal because, you know, you'd have to go here and then have a block and then have it out or something like that to make it diagonal. That kind of sucks. But I think this is a good height for it. All right, now let's see what this looks like. We're just going to stop right here. All right, that's not looking too bad. I think if we get some kind of like edge, I don't know, make it look more like a crate, that would look good. But if we go from far away, yeah, it's not bad. It needs a little bit more thickness, I think. I'm thinking that this is a little bit too dark, so we're going to have to cut it down a little bit and replace it with regular oak. I think this will match better because it will contrast against what we're carrying. That way you can see the difference between the cargo and the actual crate. That is looking all right. I'm liking it. I think if we build another one like down here, that will give us some, you know, consistency. But let's go far away and see what this looks like. So when we approach it from the street over here, I think it's good. I'm liking it. I've never built diagonal before. So I think I did all right for my first try. Let's go over here. I want to see the angle from on this side. Yeah, I'm not liking how soft that's looking like inside. Maybe I'll have to change that around, but I do like this. I'm just excited to go AFK and finally get all these jack-o'-lanterns that I need carved. Oh, hello, zombie pigman. How you doing? We have a lot of stuff to do here in the Nether. This is a very, very ambitious project, and it's just a single-player world. I don't have any help. I'm not in creative. I can't command, you know, /fill air or whatever. So it's going to be a lot of work, and I'm doing it by hand because, well, I'm not the smartest person. Yeah, we're going to settle on that. No, I already built the tunnels, and then I decided I wanted to also have a lot of really productive farms. So I just started digging by hand. Yeah. But now that we're going to have all these jack-o'-lanterns, that's our current limitation. I think our next thing is that we're going to have to get a lot of black wool, but that's a project for another day. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you like and subscribe and do all those things and watch me struggle to do this project over the next couple months. Have a good one. Bye. Bye.